off to the side. Well, let's just talk about this before we even write anything down. If I ask you to tell me how this graph is translated, this is a review from last week, you would need to tell me that this opens up. You would tell me that you went right 1 and down 5. Okay, that would be your verbal translation. The other thing that we did last week was we did domain. What is the domain of all parabolas? All real numbers. And the range of this parabola. So the range is always going to be a y value. So it's going to be y is, since it's opening up, is that going to be greater than or less than? So greater than or equal to, and your y value was -5. Okay. Now, one of the new pieces that we're going to talk about, I'm going to write it down here. If the parabola opens up, it will have a minimum. Yes? Oh. Is that better? Thanks. Okay, so the key word here is minimum. What's the word minimum mean? The lowest point. Okay? So if the parabola opens up, we are going to have a minimum, which is going to be that lowest point there, where you started your graph from. That point is called your vertex. And in this case, it is a minimum. Again, use your colored pencils or not. You don't have to use the same color as I have. Whichever your colored pens, or don't use it. Just use your pencil. Yes. Yes. Okay, when we graphed lines, okay, and the point crossed our y-axis, so this point right here, which is at 0, -4. So the point that crosses your y-axis is called what? What is that? The point that crosses your y-axis in an equation of a line, or it's the same thing for a parabola. Any idea? It's called the y-intercept. Okay, so this is your y-intercept. Okay, now, if we look on your x-axis, how many times does your parabola cross your x-axis? Twice. So I'm going to highlight those. Any idea what those would be called if they cross your x-axis? Yep, that's a good one. It's an x-intercept. It is also called your roots, your zeros, and your solution. So it's your x-intercept, is your roots, your zeros, and your solution. And we will be focusing on those when we get back in January. Yes?
When did we start break?
When do you start break? On the 20th.
Why did we go to come to school for 2 days? No weekends to get.
They look at all the feeder schools, the 6 schools here that feed into Diamond, and they go off of their schedules. So most of those schools are going those 2 days. Yep. Yeah, so it just depends. Okay, if we draw, well, let's back up. A parabola has, they're mirror images of each other. So there is a vertical line that we can draw so that the left side would look just like the right side. And that line is the vertical line that goes right through our vertex. Okay, it is dotted. Notice it's dotted here. When you're asked to graph it on Math Excel, it's going to have to be dotted. Does anybody have an idea of what that purple line that I just drew is called? Okay, it is. It's the axis of symmetry. Sometimes people call it the line of symmetry. We're going to use axis of symmetry because that's how Math Excel puts it. Now, if it is a vertical line, how do we write the equation of all vertical lines? Is it y equals or x equals? It is x equals. So this will be an x equal. When I ask you for the axis of symmetry, you're going to put x equals and then tell me what that x value is. Okay, and then the last two vocab have to do when you are graphing this. So, when you are graphing any kind of graph, you should always look from left to right, just like you're reading a book. So if I start here at the left, which way is my graph of my parabola going? Which way is my pencil going, or in this case, my orange marker? It is going down the whole way. If something's going down, is that increasing or decreasing? So my graph, this side of my parabola, is said to be decreasing. Decreasing meaning down. Now, when I get to my vertex, which direction is the other side of my graph going? Up, and so up would be said to be increasing. And that's all the vocab we're going to focus on today. Okay? So, if we look at the graph that you should have opening down, let's talk about this. The domain should be domain of all quadratics, all real numbers. The range. What is the range of this? Datea?
Oh, why is our standard equal to 6?
Yes, 6. And now our statement. If the parabola opens down, it will have a what? If it opens down now, it's going to have a maximum. It's going to have a highest point. Okay, so I'm going to go to my vertex point, which is at -2, 6. This is my vertex. I'm going to label these. Vertex And in this case, since it opens down, this will be a maximum. Yes?
So is the highest point and the lowest point, that's the maximum?
So if it opens down, that vertex is considered your maximum point. Okay? If it opens up, then that's the minimum point. It's the lowest number on your graph, and in this case, that's the highest my graph will go. Y-intercept. Where would the y-intercept be here? What ordered pair would the y-intercept be at? 0, 4. So this is the y-intercept. I think we did x-intercepts next. So if I look on my x-axis, there's going to be 2 of them. So this is their x-intercept. Root. What else do we call x-intercept?
Zeros.
Zeros and solutions.
Get hurt?
He's like, CTS, I'm gonna help you. No. I cried. Teacher Mason. He's not like the teacher. Right. That's what I would say. What's good? What you need?
Yeah.
What's good issue? That's it.
How will you make
Come on, this is CTSM. I'm gonna help you.
this one?
That's your sort of like where it goes.
What?
Wait.
Straight. Straight to the fire. Right.
Bet, I got you.
So my sister breathes too. When she turned 50,
I would cry.
Okay, so those are x-intercepts, roots, solutions, and zeros. You can finish that out. Zeros. Okay, next thing that we labeled was our axis of symmetry. So through your vertex, it will always be a vertical line. And so this will be the axis of symmetry, which will be x equals . Okay, and the last two we need to label where is your parabola increasing and where is it decreasing. So if I start here at the left side, my pencil or marker is going up, so this is increasing. And then once I get to my vertex, my parabola is going down, so this is decreasing. Questions on any of that vocab? Maybe things that you've heard before? Axis of symmetry, that's something you usually talk about in geometry a lot. Okay, so if we look at question number 2, this is graphed for you already. All you have to do is answer the 5 fill-in-the-blanks. So you want your vertex. In this case, my vertex is a minimum point, and I want the ordered pair. So the ordered pair there would be 5, 2. Okay. The next question says axis of symmetry. Your axis of symmetry will not just be a number. You have to write it as an equation. It's always going to be x equals, and then if I'm going to draw in this axis of symmetry here, what x value do I have in my vertex? 5. So it's going to be x equals 5. All these numbers are going to come right from that vertex. Okay, this asks for, is this a max or a min? This is a minimum value. And when it has the word value, it wants your y. So what's the minimum value here? It is 2. Domain and range we've talked about for a week now. Domain is all real numbers. And the range is going to be y is greater than or equal to 2. What two numbers did I use there? 5 and 2. Where did those two numbers come from? My vertex. Okay, number 3. Vertex on number 3 is -2, 4. Axis of symmetry. X equals -2. Somebody said that. Okay, it is a maximum, but what is your max value here? 4. Domain, all real numbers. And your range will be y is less than or equal to 4.
Is domain always numbers?
Yes, it is. Okay, now number 5 and 6 are a little bit different. These are sketches. We're going to continue sketches because we're going to do sketches tomorrow and Wednesday. So that's why there's not an axis here. So first, the negative after the equal sign tells you this is going to open down. I did put the rules over there on the sideboard if you forgot. The -5 inside is going to tell you to go which direction, left or right? Right 5, and the -23 is going to tell you to go down 23. Okay, so I'm going to put a sketch here. The sketch, I know I go right 5, and I know I go down -23. I am not going to count those. I just know that this is a sketch and my vertex is going to be at that location. Okay? That's all that is a sketch of what's going on there. From your sketch, you should be able to answer the 5 questions very similar to what we did before. So your vertex here is going to be at 5, -23. Your axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 5. This will be a maximum value, but what is that maximum value? -23. Domain, all real numbers. And the range is y is less than, because it's opening down, -23. Okay, number 5. Which way is this going to open? Down. Which way is it going to shift? Left 3 and... Okay, so I'm going to go left, I'm going to put a -3, and I'm going to go down -17. Put a vertex, and then show that my parabola opens down. Vertex. Somebody tell me the vertex. -3, -17. Axis of symmetry. X equals -3. Does it have a min or a max? It has a max, and that max value is -17. Your domain, all real numbers. No one better miss that Friday on the test. And the range, y is less than or equal to -17.